Welcome again to another episode of Voice of a Niner Faithful. My name is Jason Teal. I'll be your host. Uh, Today, we'll be breaking down the latest from the preseason, covering all the key moments from the games against the Saints and the Las Vegas Raiders. And I'll go into why we're having to cover two games instead of one in just a minute. Whether you're just tuning in for updates, analysis, or just keeping up with the 49ers spirit, you're in the right place. Before we dive in, though, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to stay tuned for and updated of all things 49ers as we head into the regular season. Your support means everything to this podcast as we continue this journey together. And just a side note, I need 5 more subscribers so I can go live on YouTube for my week 2 game against the Vikings, where I'll be there. I'd like to go around the outside of the stadium when I first get there, start talking to fellow fans, get into the stadium before the game starts, talking to other fellow fans that I'm going to hopefully be seated next to somewhere, and so on. And then a quick recap after the game there. So that'd be great to do that live. So 5 more subscribers. Let's go. All right. Let's go into recapping of the 49ers Saints game. Again, the reason that I'm doing this now instead of last weekend I was a bit under the weather. I think I had a 100 and something fever. I haven't had a fever in like a decade. So yeah, I was pretty down and out last weekend. So that's why we're going over 2 games instead of one this weekend. So let's get into it. Um, the game was significant for a few reasons, not the least of which was the only home game of the exhibition schedule. So hopefully, a lot of our fellow faithful that are actually out there in California got to go. With this decision to skip joint practices, Kyle Shanahan had to make some strategic choices about who would see action on the field. So it turned out all right. We won the game. But some key highlights: the whole Brock Purdy starting thing. Purdy was expected to be the starter, and he was under center for the first quarter. He managed 3 series, giving fans a glimpse of what they might expect. But I don't know. It just didn't look all that great. Despite the absences of some key veterans like Kittle and Bosa, Purdy made the most of his time, showcasing some of his ability to command the offense. A lot of it wasn't on him, but there were a few plays that were kind of, what? What did you do that for? Um, but I don't think he's on the same page as the second and third string receivers and running backs, and a lot of that it showed. So when we get to the highlights and everything from the Raiders game, that was much better. Um, Josh Dobbs, on the other hand, he shined pretty decent in this game. Um, Now I'm going to put an asterisk next to that because I've seen him play in regular season games for other teams, and he's either hot or he's dead. There's no middle ground with Dobbs, so that's what my biggest concern is. But for this particular game, he led 3 scoring drives, including a personal 1-yard touchdown run, which was really good. I'll give him credit. Um, he displayed his versatility and he moving the ball efficiently and showing why he's a decent backup. Um, with that said, uh, I still think that Allen did pretty good that game as well. Uh, I think Allen probably would have had better results on paper, but a couple of his good deep passes, and they were really good deep passes, the receivers dropped them. That was completely on the receivers, not on not on Allen. So I think I think Allen did a decent enough job and a good enough job that game as well as Dobbs did. Some of the young defensive standouts for the game: um, Jair Brown and Renardo Green made some crucial plays early on, helping the team win the turnover battle. Uh, Alex Barrett's strip sack and recovery was another highlight, which was awesome, setting up a scoring opportunity for the offense. The special teams performance, they tend to fly under the radar, but in this game they were a critical factor. This punter we have behind Wishnowsky, Harvin, Presley Harvin III is his name. He just both in this game, in all three games, to be honest with you, he was he was getting that ball 20 behind the 20-yard line almost every time. Someone is going to pick this guy up. I mean, we got Wishnowsky. Wishnowsky is no one's better than Wishnowsky in my opinion. But Harvin must have been learning a lot from him because he was just awesome in every game. Um, and Moody was reliable, hitting 4 of his 5 attempts. The one he missed was from 50 plus, a little to the right, if I remember correctly. But that's okay. He's still pretty reliable. I think a lot of people give him a lot of crap, but I like Moody. He's gonna be with the team for a while. Um, this game also provided a solid mix of veteran presence and youthful energy, setting the tone for what fans can expect in the regular season. But as we know, the preseason is more about the individuals' games. It's about building momentum and getting a read on the team's depth. So, with that said, we're gonna go into the Raiders game now, and this game was of particular importance because it's the last chance for some players to have a case to, hey, put me on the team. I want to be on the team. Uh, Kyle Shanahan again stuck to his plan, giving key starters like Brock Purdy and George Kittle some playing time, while keeping an eye on those battling for roster spots. Purdy in the offense, they were in sync. I mean, that awesome, incredible. You just can't deny how great that pass was to Kittle in the middle, right above that linebacker. He was, you know, yeah, the ball went right over him, right into Kittle's head. That was amazing. Um, 27-yard connection to Debo early also. Um, 6-play, 37-yard drive ended in a 49-yard field goal by Moody. Purdy also showed his mobility with a 14-yard scramble, underscoring his dual threat capability. Yeah, he's no Lamar Jackson, but he can run when he needs to, and I think he's learning exactly when he needs to. The quarterback competition for two. I am going to keep saying it. I think Allen is going to be 2 and Dobbs is 3. But I could be. I'm not saying I'm Mr. Know-It-All. I definitely am not. But that is just my opinion. But Dobbs did really good. Brandon did really good. I even think Tanner Mordecai did really good. He shows promise. I think Mordecai is going to end up on the practice squad. But they all did pretty good. So with that said, a lot of people are going to say that Dobbs should be number 2 and Allen should be number 3. Or I even saw a couple people saying that Allen should be on the practice squad or cut, and Mordecai should be number 3. I've seen Mordecai play with Wisconsin his last year of college because, hey, guess what? That's where I'm at in Wisconsin. And yeah, he had some good plays, but I'm not seeing it. He's probably going to be a good backup for somebody somewhere in his career. I don't think he's going to be a starter. But so Purdy, Allen, Dobbs, or Dobbs, Allen. That's how it's going to go. Our defensive depth during that game. Fournette's defense came through early with a turnover forced by Jair Brown. I think that was an awesome pickup, by the way, when we picked him up. And Flanagan fouls, setting up a great field position. However, the defensive line suffered a setback with injuries to Gross Matos and Leonard Floyd, both of whom will need to be monitored closely as the regular season approaches. Speaking of those, I did read before I came on to record this today that let's see my notes. Floyd, his injury is he's okay. He's just going to watch him day to day. He's expected to be ready, no problem, week one. And Matos, he's week to week, but he also looks like he should be ready by week one. Um, Special teams and rookie contributions, Isaac Garendo. All right, now we get to see him in pads running. He's healthy again. 93-yard kickoff return. Can't ask for anything much better than that, except maybe a touchdown. And he was pretty damn close. Um, Showing off that kind of explosiveness changes the moment. Can change the momentum of any game. So the game against the Raiders wrapped up a preseason that had been full of highs and some concerns, particularly with injuries. Um, I really wish we would have been able to get to see Pearsall in a preseason game. Side note on that, again, an injury update. He will be back from injury at practice Monday, so that's a good thing. I'm expecting to see him dressed for the Jets game, so we'll see. And hopefully we'll get to see him play that game in that game. We'll see. We'll see on that too. But it's clear that the 49ers are ready to compete with a deep roster, though they do I would like to see him a little more deep on defensive end. Side note, and they have a clear purpose heading into the regular season. Injuries and their impacts. Injuries are the unfortunate reality in football. We all know about that. And the 49ers are definitely no stranger to that. That wonderful one season that pretty much everybody was injured. The preseason saw a few key players go down, but like I said, they're better. They're going to be better. Matos and Leonard Floyd, both players suffered knee sprains in the Raiders game. And Leonard Floyd is considered day to day, and Matos, his might take a little longer to heal, but week to week, like I said. But it looks like they should be fine for the season opener. But if for whatever reason, I think I'm pretty sure that Floyd is going to play. If for whatever reason they want to just hold Matos back a little bit longer, that might be a little point of concern. We'll see how it goes. As I said, Ricky Pearsall, he will be set to return on Monday from his shoulder injury, and that will help the receiving core, which is also awesome. Some of the other players that have been out there, unfortunately, Drake Greenlaw is probably going to stick on the pup list for a little bit. Hufanga, I think Hufanga should be ready by week one. Hopefully, he'll get into at least a week of practice. Maybe he'll be ready around the Labor Day weekend. We'll see. But I'm hoping that they don't have to put him on the pup list. That means if we do that, he'd have to miss the first 4 games for sure. But I think he's going to be ready. I think they'll keep him in, so we don't have to do that. Some of the roster battles that we have to worry about, though, for this 53-man cut that is coming up, that has to be done by Tuesday, by the way. So within between now and Tuesday, there's going to unfortunately be a lot of people cut. Maybe we'll trade somebody. Maybe we'll pick somebody up from another team. Every other team's got to do the same thing. So we'll see. Our quarterback depth, I still think, is going to stick with Brock Purdy, obviously, number one. I think it's going to be Allen 2 and Dobbs 3, but it could be Dobbs Allen. We'll see. And Mordecai, I think, is going to go to the practice squad. We've all learned our lesson about not having enough quarterback depth. Wide receivers and tight end depth. With Pearsall returning, the wide receiver group is even more competitive. Similarly, with the tight end position, Logan Thomas got re-signed, and that puts some interesting options for Shanahan as he looks to balance everything. As for with the Logan Thomas signing, I think I kind of like I kind of like Tonjes. I'm not sure I'm pronouncing it correctly, but Tonjes. What I saw in the preseason from him, I really liked him. I liked what's the other guy's name? Saubert, Eric Saubert. I liked Saubert. I think it should be Kittle, probably Saubert, and because they signed Thomas, I think probably Tom. It's going to be Kittle, Saubert, Thomas, and I think Tonjes has earned it over Latu, but unfortunately, I think Latu is going to get it as the 4 tight ends. Um, if Latu doesn't make it, he'll be on the practice squad. If Tongas doesn't make it, he'll be on the practice squad. Mason Klein, um, he I don't know. I didn't see a whole lot of special from him. If he stays on the team, it'll be on the practice squad. Um, Defensive line adjustments with those injuries to Matos and Floyd. They might need some other defensive line depth. So this, with all these cuts coming from other teams as well, maybe we'll get lucky and pull off somebody that we can bring in. Maybe a trade, just a plain pickup. Who knows? But we'll see what happens there. Uh, this is where the strategy of the roster management comes into play as the 49ers look to maximize what strengths they have while covering potential weaknesses, and defensive end depth is a weakness. Um, Looking ahead, as we look into the regular season, it is a tough schedule with the Monday night game against the Jets. Um, we're facing one of our former coaches here in Mr. Sala, and it is a different team with a different defensive coordinator for us. But it should be a good game. As much as I'm not a big Rodgers fan, I at least hope he gets one series in. Maybe not a good series, but at least one series in before he might get hurt. Who knows? I never want any player to ever get hurt, and I hope he doesn't. I just hope he throws a lot of picks, gets sacked a lot. That wouldn't hurt my feelings at all. Um, with a with our well-rounded team and a clear sense of who we are, the 49ers have all the tools to make it a Super Bowl run. The key factors, obviously, are got to stay healthy and getting contributions from everybody. Um, what I think needs to happen is one of the poor things that I saw during all 3 preseason games was defensive tackles. Not the tackle position, but tackling in general. Um, I hope that gets better for the regular season. I know those weren't majority of them weren't our starters, but it wasn't pretty. We need to pick that up. I hope our future pickups that I think we're going to pick up. My guess is 1 or 2 players from other teams that are getting people getting cut. Um, Hopefully they will be able to contribute quite well. We need God. We need. I hate it when the Niners do this. Wait until the last minute to sign people. We need to get Ayuk and Trent Williams signed. Like I said, I think it's going to happen around the Labor Day weekend. Um, I wish it wouldn't, but we signed Bosa 4 days before the beginning of the season. So, but he did show rust. I expect that from both uh, Ayuk and Williams when they do get signed, and we'll keep saying that they both will be 49ers. I've been saying it all off season about Ayuk. He's going to stay a 49er. Um, but that's what we have to look forward to. Um, I need a couple comments before I wrap up here. Preseason is a wrap, and now the regular season is about to begin. We've seen some capabilities of what what our rookies can do, and some of our other players. And in just a couple days, we'll know what the 53-man roster looks like. Our challenges are for injuries and tough roster decisions, but we'll overcome it. No problem. We need some. I could use some comments. A big question I have is, this will be my first full season of doing this. I started this right at the end of right around the Super Bowl last year. I started doing this podcast, so I took a risk and started learning how to do this during the off season, so I can get some time under my belt. Now that we have games here, now that the season's about to start, I'd like to hear from all of you about how you would like to hear from me. Would you like to hear right after the game? I can do a recording. Sundays, obviously, that's easy enough. Um, and I'm on second shift now, so I'll be able to stay up late and watch those late Sunday night games, Monday night games, and do an episode right after the game. So that shouldn't be an issue. But do you want to still hear, if it's a Monday night game, do you still want to hear an episode on Sunday and then another episode right after the game on Monday night? Or do you just want to, hey, if there's a Monday night game, I'll do an episode Monday night after the game? Let me know what you think. Uh, as always, thank you for joining us today as we broke down all the action from the last two preseason games. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. As I said, subscribe. 5 more subscribers, and I can go live when I'm at the Vikings game. Uh, and stay with us throughout the season as we bring you all the latest news, analysis, and updates. The regular season is just around the corner, and we can't wait to see what's in store for our 49ers and our faithful. Let's go, Niners!